Morning students. Today we are going to be learn about module number 2, bit number 2, flexible manufacturing system. So before going to the flexible manufacturing system, so one should understand what do you mean by group technology. Before that, so nowadays the manufacturing industries are facing lot of problem to produce the product due to the increase in the prices of raw material. There are many other challenges are there. In spite of this, they have to be produce a good quality of product with a lower cost, and customer satisfaction is also important factor. So to fulfill all these requirements, an alternative method of manufacturing is come into existence, known as a flexible manufacturing system, that is popularly known as a FMS. Now coming to the group technology. What do you mean by group technology? See, group technology is a new manufacturing philosophy in which the similar parts are identified and they have categorized depend upon their design and manufacturing processes to reduce overall manufacturing cost. It means, so whatever the products are there, these products are going to be classified according to their design and manufacturing processes, and these are stored as a part families. Part family in the sense similar products which are having the similar characteristics both in design and manufacturing. So there are two types of part families are there. One is known as a based on design characteristics. It means the products which are similar in design characteristics, those are known as a based on design characteristics part families. With a small example I'll explain here. See this 4.2 figure here. The both designs are same. Both the two, there are two jobs are there. Both designs are same, but the material is different. Here it is a stainless steel. Here it is a material C45. So these comes under the based on the design characteristics. Second one based on the manufacturing characteristics. So with the example I will explain here. See this figure 4.3. Here the material means manufacturing characteristics means the cylindrical workpiece has been converted into a different forms with the help of the different operations like a turning operation. You know, all the four categories, the cylindrical workpiece has been converted into a required type of a product, but here the design is different. All the four workpieces having the different designs. So this is known as a based on the manufacturing characteristics. So the part families are of two types. One is a based on the design characteristics and based on the manufacturing characteristics. Coming to the advantages of group technology. So what are the main advantages of group technology? So with the help of group technology, modification has been made on the similar designs. Now we are having the one product which is having the similarity compared to the other one. So any type of modification can be done on a existing design. This is the most important advantage of a group technology. Then standard process plans can be developed in the groups, because we are modifying the design, therefore the standard process plans are required. So movement can be reduced with the help of with the material handling and movement of product can be reduced. Then if there is any changes in the market, that can be improved with a quick response with the help of a group technology. Faster production rate due to the group technology we can achieve. Then setup time is reduced, hence the manufacturing lead times are also going to be reduced. So these are some of the important advantages of a group technology. Now coming to the FMS. What do you mean by flexible manufacturing system? See, flexible manufacturing system is a computer controlled manufacturing system which is consisting of a group of processing workstations. These processing workstations may be CNC machines, may be robots, may be VMCs, may be HMCs, right? So these number of group processing workstations interconnected by automated material handling system and storage system. So how we are going to be define the FMS? FMS is nothing but it is a group of number of workstations, processing workstations. These processing workstations are interconnected with the material handling system and storage system. The best example of these type of technologies are flexible automation, CNC automated flow line, automated material handling and storage system, and the group technology. So uh, it is capable of producing the variety of product simultaneously at the different workstations. It means that with the help of FMS, any number of different variety of product can be simultaneously produced in the different workstations. Now, what are the capabilities of FMS? What are the FMS capabilities? The first one capability is identify the parts based on their part families. As I explained in the last bit, different type of workpieces are going to be stored in a different part families. So identification is very easy with the help of a FMS system. Changing of operating instructions as per the product changes. If there is any changes in the product, that can be done with the help of a FMS. Changing in the physical setup of a product. If any physical setup of a product can be changed, that can be done with the help of a FMS. Variety of product can be produced with the help of a FMS because the modification has been made on the similar products. That's why any type of variety of products can be produced within a short period of time. Then if any breakdown happens in the automated flow line, that can be recovered very quickly with the help of a FMS. And finally, introduce new design in the existing part families. So these are some of the capabilities of a flexible manufacturing system. Now, so this is the simple example of a automated manufacturing system known as a flexible manufacturing system. Here, the flexible manufacturing system in this case, it is consisting of a two workstations. Workstation number 1, workstation number 2, and this is the robot which is used to load and unload the work part from casserole into the workstations. So we can see here the two arrows means these are the unworked parts and these are the finished parts. So the robot picks up the unworked part and loaded into the machine number 1. Then after completion of processing operation in the workstation number 1, it can be transferred into the workstation 2. Then after the completion of workstation 2, the finished product, it is going to be stored into a part casserole. So this is the simple example of a FMS system. Now just to compare the definition of FMS with this, it consisting of a number of workstations with the automated part handling system and automated part storage system is known as a FMS. Now coming to the type of FMS, there are mainly three types of FMS are there: single machine shell, flexible manufacturing shell, and flexible manufacturing system. The very first one is known as a single machine shell. As the name indicates, single machine shell is consisting of a only one workstation with the part transfer system and loading and unloading system, that is automated transfer lines and the automated storage system. Here the different parts can be processed in a single machine. Different parts or a variety of parts, different variety of parts can be made in a single system. But the disadvantage of the single machine shell is that the number of quantity of workpieces are less. If the only one part is going to be produced, that can be done in a large quantity. But if the variety of products are going to be produced, it can be with changing in the setup. So it should not be possible to produce the large quantity of products with a different variety of a product. The single machine shell consisting of a single machine and part transfer lines, automated part transfer lines, material handling system and storage system. So here from this pallet the work parts are transferred to this shuttle, and from this it is loaded into the machine, and after completion of this the finished product can be transferred into the empty pallet. So in this way the single machine cell is going to be work. Coming to the flexible manufacturing cell, as the name indicates, flexible manufacturing cell, it consisting of more 2 to 3 machines, okay, more than 2 machines. So 2 to 3 machines are connected internally with the part transfer lines and automated storage and automated material handling and storage system. Here the number of workstations are interconnected with each other with a number of operations. Means some of the operations on the product are going to be done in the first workstation, some of the operations are going to be done in the next workstation, and some of the operations are going to be done in the final workstation. So the part which is entering into the first workstation, after completion it is transferred to the second workstation. After completion of this, it is transferred to the third workstation. Finally it is stored into the part storage system. So with this, the number of processing operations are going to be increased in a single product. Okay, that is a flexible manufacturing cell. Now third one is a flexible manufacturing system. The flexible manufacturing system is the next step of a flexible manufacturing cell, where the number of workstations are more than 4 or more number of workstations are interconnected with the automatic part handling system and material storage system. The production rate of this is very high as compared to the single machine cell and flexible machine cell. So with this diagram one can easily understood that single machine cell, the production rate is low, number of machines is 1. Flexible manufacturing cell, the production rate is medium, 2 to 3 machines are interconnected in with the flexible manufacturing cell. And flexible manufacturing system, more than 4 workstations are interconnected to produce the different parts. The production rate is very high in this case. Now, levels of flexibility. There are mainly 2 levels of flexibility. One is dedicated FMS, one is random order FMS. Now, what do you mean by dedicated FMS? Dedicated FMS in the sense the part variety flexibility is very less here. Part variety flexibility. It means it produces a limited variety of parts. So, for example, if the dedicated FMS only it produces 2 to 3 parts regularly, there is no changeover is done in the dedicated FMS. Suppose if you are producing the nut and bolts, so continuously you are going to be produce the nut and bolts in the huge quantity. So production annual rate volume is maximum here, but part variety is at the some extent. It means the dedicated FMS are only meant for the producing the parts in the a small variety, but in the very large quantity. It means number of workstations are interconnected, and these workstations are going to be manufactured only 2 to 3 different type of variety in a lakhs together quantity of a product is known as a dedicated FMS. Random order FMS. The term itself indicates that random order FMS is nothing but it is going to be handle the large part variety of workpieces. So is there any changes or modification is going to be done? That can be done, and many different part variety products can be manufactured, but the production rate is very low as compared to the dedicated FMS. The production rate is very low, but the any number of different variety of products can be manufactured in the random order FMS. Okay, there are mainly 2 levels of flexibility: dedicated FMS, random order FMS. Now coming to the component of FMS, there are mainly 3 components of FMS. One is a workstation, second one is a material handling and storage system, third one is a computer control system. So the FMS components are workstation. So first of all, workstations are nothing but the processing machines or machine tools. So nowadays all these workstations are CNC machines, VMC machines, HMC machines or robots. So these type of machines are going to be used, which includes the inspection section, assembly section, sheet metal, forging, loading and unloading, machining stations, all are included in this workstation. Second one, material handling and storage system. Material handling and storage systems are transferring the work part from one machine cell to the other machine cell, and after completion of finished product, it is going to be stored into some place is known as a material handling and storage system. There are mainly two types of material handling system. One is known as a primary material handling system. Second one is known as a secondary material handling system. Primary material handling system is used to transfer the work part from one workstation to the other workstation. Let us consider there are 1, 2, 3 workstations. So parts are moving from workstation 1 to workstation 2 and workstation 2 to workstation 3. These type of material handling systems are known as a primary material handling system. And secondary material handling system, here they transfer the work parts from primary workstation system to the processing workstations. In some this FMS, transferring of parts from one workstation to the workstation where actual the work is going to be done. There the secondary material handling system are going to be used. Now coming to the functions of automated material handling and storage system. The first one is a random and independent movement of a work part between the stations. As we discussed, the basic function of a automated material handling and storage system is independently movement of the work part from one station to the other workstation. Second one, handling of variety of part configurations, use of pallets and fixtures and robots. Different variety of part configurations are going to be handled with the help of this system. So this system is also act as a buffer in the sense it is a temporary storage. Convenient access of loading and unloading of the work part. With the help of automated handling and storage system, the loading and unloading is very easy because the parts are in a queue and the loading and unloading is very convenient. Compatibility with the computer control system. With the use of this control system, computer control system, the compatibility is going to be increases with the help of the computer system in the material handling and automated storage system. So the third component of FMS is computer control system. Now first one is the workstation, second one is the material handling and storage system. Now all these workstations and material handling and storage systems are controlled with the help of a computers. Here manual involvement is very less. Everything, the movement of working of a workstation, transferring the work from one center to another center, finished product are going to be stored into a part casserole. Everything is done with the help of a computer. So that is the third part is known as a computer control system. So components of FMS are, one is workstations, second one is material handling and storage system, third one is the computer control. So this is the automated storage and retrieval system. Another concept, very important concept known as a automated storage and retrieval system. So in the FMS, as we discussed, the different parts are going to be characterized depend upon their design and manufacturing, and they are stored into a part families. Now different parts are going to be stored in a very large manner, that is known as a automated storage. And whenever these similar parts are required for the processing, they are going to be retrieved, that is known as a retrieve system. Automatic storage and retrieve system. These are act as a temporary memory or a buffer to store the similar component as a part family, and whenever required for the processing, they are going to be retrieved, they are going to be taken from this system. It is known as a automated storage and retrieval system. Now coming to the benefits of FMS. So the very first benefits of FMS is increased machine utilization. FMS reduces setup time and tool handling time by using the automatic pallet changer. Of course, by using the FMS, the tool changing time is going to be reduces, machine utilization is going to be increases, then greater response in changes of FMS. Any modification, any new part is going to be enter, any breakdown in the automated flow line, can be respond very fastly with the help of a FMS. Reduce inventory requirements. So the stock, that is the stored components, inventories are going to be reduced with the help of a FMS. Fewer machines are required due to high machine utilization. As in FMS we are using CNC machines, VMC machines, SMT machines, therefore high utilization is going to be done. Therefore only few machines are required in the FMS with the help of a FMS. Then as we are using the part storage system, the floor space required by the factory is very less. We need a very low space required to build the or to stay the machines, because we are using the CNC machines, VNC machines, which are capable of producing or operating many number of operation in a single machine. Low manufacturing lead times. The machining time of a particular product is very low, that is the low manufacturing lead times. Compatibility to incorporate changes in the product. As I explained, if there is any changes in the product, it can be very easily incorporated with the help of a FMS. You can do any changes during the product manufacturing. Consistent quality. As you are using the part this storage system and material handling system and all the stipulated workstations, the quality of the product is going to be consistent. The similar quality of products are being manufactured. Next one is the reduced direct labor requirements, then reduced factory floor space. These are some benefits of a FMS. Now coming to the limitations. High investment cost, of course, it is consisting of a number of highly equipped workstations, so initial investment is very high. FMS is capable of producing limited range of part families. So the part, in the sense of a part family, it is capable of producing a small range of a part family. FMS is designed to produce parts within a definite range of a size and processes. So these are some limitations of the FMS. Now coming to the two important aspects, FMS planning issues and FMS design issues. There are four important planning issues are there. FMS planning issues. Very first one is part family consideration. So the part family consideration means it must be defined based on the design or manufacturing characteristics. Means whenever you consider a product, that product should be characterized on the part family based on design or manufacturing characteristic, whether it is a design characteristic or a manufacturing characteristic. This is the first planning issue known as a part family consideration. Second one, processing requirements. So processing requirements can be selected based on the type of parts. Which type of parts are going to be processed, depend upon that processing requirements are going to be identified. Whether the parts are having more than 5 operations, which operations are there, turning is there, milling is there, drilling is there. So depend upon that the processing requirements are going to be finalized. That is the second issue. Third one, physical characteristics of the work part. So based on the physical characteristics of the base part, the workstations are going to be selected. Whether the work part is this one, which one, mild steel, or work part is a brittle material like a wrought iron. So depend upon that the workstations are going to be determined. Then finally, production volume. Depend upon the quantity of production being manufactured, the number of machines and material handling system is going to be selected. So whether it is a batch production, whether it is a mass production, depend upon that how many number of machines and which type of material handling system is going to be used, that is decided. So these are the four important FMS planning issues. Then FMS design issues. There are 6 design issues are there. The very first one is the type of workstation. So depending upon the part family, the type of workstation like machining center, turning center, inspection, loading, unloading are determined. It means that, so first you are going to be see the work part. So which work part means which operations are needed, whether turning is needed, inspection is also needed, or any other operations are needed, depend upon the type of part from the part family, the different processing operations are going to be selected. That is the type of workstations. Variation in FMS layout and process routing. If the processing sequence is a low, so it means only 4 to 5 operations are there, then inline layout is going to be used. If the processing operations more than 10 or 20 is there, then the ladder type of a processing operation flow is going to be used. That is variation in process layouts. There are different types of layouts are there: inline layout, ladder layout, L type layout. So inline means number of machines are in single line. Ladder means it is like a ladder section. So it is a closed ladder section in which the number of workstations are going to be added in a ladder shape. Third one is a material handling system. It includes both primary and secondary material handling system according to the FMS design. Work in process, WIP. If work in process is low, that will be a starving. If work process is high, that will be a blocking. So these two aspects I have explained in the module number 1 when we are learning about the CNC number of this introduction part of a SIM system. What do you mean by starving? What do you mean by blocking? Number of components before the workstation, that is a starving. Number of workstations stopped at the after the workstation is known as a blocking. Now next one is the tooling. Different types of tools, number of tools are going to be decided with the number of stations. Okay. Then pallet fixtures. Number of pallet fixtures are required for the production of a product. That is also a important design issue. Next, automated storage and retrieval system, AS/RS. As I told you, the main function of the automated storage and retrieval system is it store the materials for the some period of time, and whenever it is required, these materials are going to be retrieved from the system. Automated storage and retrieval system, the main function is to store the material is for the some period of time, and whenever it is required, it is taken back from the system. The second point is different categories of material are required, different storage and controls. So we need the different storage system for the different categories of materials. Many production plants use manual methods of storing and retrieval system. In some cases, manual methods, we are going to be, the operator is going to be stored the material and operator is going to be retrieve the material from the system. In some cases it is automated. Automated methods are available to improve the efficiency of the storing function. Of course, when you are using the automated, then it should be a very punctual, or the efficiency of this is more than the manual one. Many conventional storage systems are available, such as system slaves and bills, bulk storage and draw storage. This storage equipment required for human worker to assess the item storage to storage, and the storage item itself static. It means that the worker is going to be identified which part family is going stored in a different storages. That knowledge is to be with the operator. Coming to the advantages: increase storage capacity, reduce factory floor space, used for storing, improve security and reduce labor cost. So in view, we can say that advantages are storage capacity is going to be increases, floor space required by the factory reduces, labor cost reduces, then safety increases, and improved in the control over inventory. These are some of the advantages of automated storage and retrieval system. Then last bit of this is automatic identification and data capture, AIDC. So automatic identification and data capture, it is a method of automatically identifying the objects, collecting the data, entering the data directly into the computer. Let us see, whenever you are you are visiting any mall where you are going to be buy some products. So with after for billing, they are going to be that product which you have brought, that product is coded with some lines or taglines, and the scanner or a machine reader, it is going to be scanned, and that particular item is going to be stored into the computer. The same automatic identification data capture AIDC is also used in the manufacturing industries. So here the different components are encoded. Let us consider you are producing the 10 components. Now these 10 components are encoded with the alphanumeric characteristics, and that alphanumeric characteristics are going to be translated into machine readable code, and that tag, it is going to be stick on the particular product. Now that particular product is going to be read with the help of a machine reader or a scanner, and directly that analog signal, it is going to be stored into a computer. And last one is the decoder. This component transfer the electrical signal into digital data, finally back into the original alphabet characteristics. So just for this, I will give the best example for like a supermarket. Whenever you visit the supermarket, you are going to be buy the different products. Now for the billing, you are giving these product to that person. The person who is going to be billing counter, with the help of the gun, he is going to be decoding the product which you have brought, and directly that this machine reader or a scanner, it directly reads the encoded data which is labeled on the product, and directly it is transferred into a required language into the computer. So in this way, the materials the products which are manufactured are also encoded, and also it is scanned, and it is decoded and stored into a computer. It is known as a automatic part identification and data capture. Thank you.